sort of traumatic birth experience, sadly, is something that you've had to go through.
Yeah, I experienced it with my only child. So we've decided not to have any more children purely based on the fact that the birth was so traumatic. I almost lost my life. I had a postpartum hemorrhage, and it was due to failings that they did. They were short-staffed, and I was just left.
And were there, Rachel, in your case, warning signs, things that they could have done differently that weren't done?
Yeah, they'd left me for a very long time contracting. Waters had already broken. The 24-hour window from when your waters break wasn't adhered to. They left me on the Pitocin drip for too long. Anything that could go wrong went wrong that day.
Gill, when you hear examples like this, is it something that you think is rare, or does it happen too often? And any idea why these sorts of things happen?
Yes, and it's hard to hear your story, Rachel. And actually, midwives tell us that they are distressed by stories just like Rachel's and the unavoidable harm. The recommendations that you've just talked about have not been funded appropriately. There has been some improvement, but it's not good enough. And that's what all of the staff say too. The system has failed women and the staff working in maternity services.
Gill, just one question really. It's about the culture. Many parents have told me recently there is a sort of almost defensive culture that they have a midwife who comes across as unsympathetic, uncaring. Now, compassion is free. Is there a problem with a culture that leads to this kind of behaviour and women having to describe, uncaring midwives?
And that's really hard to hear. All midwives, however busy they are, need to be kind, but they feel so unsupported themselves. They really put their head down and try and deliver the best care they can. What staff tell us is that every day they go to work feeling frightened and scared that they can't provide safe and high quality care. However, there are some good services and some good outcomes and some women who are really satisfied with maternity services. So we don't want to worry women who are currently in the system.
Rachel, from your experience, was it a sort of across the board issue, or was it midwives? Was it doctors? Was it what you sensed? Go ahead.
Yeah, it started from day one of my pregnancy. So my community hospital were absolutely shocking. Didn't listen to my concerns about my mental health. I was already showing signs of antenatal depression, wasn't listened to. I was just told, oh, everyone gets this. And I'm there like, not everyone feels like they don't want to live. So there is a concern. And then doctors at the hospital, I was consultant-led, didn't listen to me. I had one doctor say we should do a C-section towards the end of your pregnancy. The next time I saw a completely different person who said, no, C-section is not necessary in your instance. So I've got these conflicting opinions all the time. And then during the actual process of labour, I just was not listened to at all. The consistency, again, was not there. It was a different doctor or a different midwife all the time. And then afterwards as well, again, there was nobody actually there who was central to my care, especially after what I'd experienced, and nobody who explained to me at the time what happened to me. All I knew, I lost blood, I was in theatre. I did not know that I was actually so close to dying.
And Rachel, that's obviously the birth experience, but the effects are profound, aren't they? Just tell us a little bit about the impact of your traumatic birth and how it's affected you since.
Yeah, so I got diagnosed with PTSD, depression and anxiety after birth. The PTSD lasted for a long time. And actually, I'd say as a woman, having experienced the blood loss when you have your first period after birth, that was really triggering for me. So again, I was experiencing blood loss. In my head, blood, I'm dying. So for a long time, that just kept happening. I kept going into this spiral with poor mental health. And it took me about 2 years to recover. I can't remember the first year of my son's life. However much I'd love to remember all these memories, I don't remember holding him as a newborn baby. I don't remember him reaching certain milestones because for me, it was safer to block all of that out. And I'm never going to be able to experience that again. So for me, I've lost a whole year of my son's life and those memories that, again, I won't ever have.
Gill, do you think that the new government, the new health secretary, is making progress in addressing some of these problems? When you hear of big sweeping investigations being announced, do you and other midwives welcome that, or do you feel like there's going to be some blame thrown around in an unfair way? What's the latest sentiment amongst the group you represent?
We absolutely welcome a rapid review of maternity services and attention. We want maternity care to be right on the top of the list. It is unacceptable that people like Rachel have had experiences like they have. And as a midwife, I find that really distressing. We have been calling out for many, many years for attention and funding for maternity services, time to train, time to listen, teams that can get better at working together, which we're leading from the colleges that are involved in maternity and neonatal care. And it is, enough is enough. And we will be holding West Streeting to account. And I hope women and families do too. And if we can do that together, we have a fighting chance for maternity services this time to get better.
Gill and Rachel, thank you both very much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And